Hey yo, we're back. Roll intro.
Now, who's hot, who not? Tell me who rock, who sell out in the stores. You tell me who flop, who cop the blue drop, who jewels got blocks, who's mostly Dolce down to the two top. The same old pimp, Mace, you know ain't nothing changed but my limp. Can't stop till I see my name on the blimp. Guarantee a million shells, call a level up. You don't believe in Harlem World, nigga, double up. We don't play around, it's a bet, lay it down. Niggas didn't know me 91, bet they know.
Hey yo, so before we get into this reaction, Redgum, I was only 19. Please give a massive shout out to. And yes, Elias, you are the MVP. Hey yo, so before we jump into this reaction, please remember to run up the likes on that like button. Remember to match the energy of that subscribe button and hit that post notification bell so you can be down every time I drop a video. So, Elias, I believe you said that that this is in honor of Anzac. I think I'm pronouncing it right. Please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Anzac Day, which was for Australia and New Zealand. It's from what I've read, it seems like it's like y'all's way of like from the States, like in the United States, our Memorial Day, our Veteran Day, and our Independence Day. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what it seems like it is. So I'm definitely anxious to see what this is and just to like listen to it because I think that that's so dope because I'm assuming that it's for like all the fallen soldiers and people who participated in wars and things like that. So shout out to the troops out there and let's get into this.
Mum and Dad and Denny saw the passing out parade at Puckapunyal. It was a long march from cadets. The 6th Battalion was the next to turn. It was me who drew the card. We did Canungra, Shoalwater before we left. And Townsville lined the footpaths as we marched down to the quay. This clipping from the paper shows us young and strong and clean. And there's me in me slouch hat with me SLR and greens. God help me, I was only 19.
Oh. So with this being called I was only 19, so I wonder was there like some type of, so somebody let me know if was there like some type of draft that happened or something like that, or is this like the common age that a lot of the soldiers over in like Australia and New Zealand when they enter like into the army or just any type of service that you guys have over there? I'm not 100% sure, but with it being called I was only 19 is making me starting to think that. So just let me know in the comments. Let's get back into this.
And there's me in me slouch hat with me SLR and greens. God help me, I was only 19. From Bungtow riding Chinooks to the dust at Newey Dat, I'd been in and out of choppers now for months. And we made our tents a home, VB and pin-ups on the lockers, and an Asian orange sunset through the scrub. And can you tell me, doctor, why I still can't get to sleep? The night time's just a jungle dark and a barking M16. And what's this rash that comes and goes? Can you tell me what it means? God help me.
Oh wow.
I was only 19.
And it's so crazy because I don't think a lot of us pictured that of like how a lot of these people who, young men and young women who go into the service and things like that, like they're 19 and they're seeing like all of this, like all this combat, all these lives being lost, and then it's like not so remiss to sit there and see why our soldiers suffer from like PTSD and things like that because to me you're still at a developing stage at 18 or 19. I don't care what anybody says, but you're still coming into your own. You're still coming into manhood. You're still coming into womanhood. You're still a kid, but then it's like when you jump into these molds, you're like you're basically being exposed to so many different life situations, and you're thrown into like the trenches of things. So you've seen like a lot of life because you are in going into combat and you're fighting for the freedoms that you want your country to have. And it's like I've had like my own like little gripes with the military where as it comes to like with the US, just because of like the things in the systematic oppression that the government has done towards people of color, and not only just people of color but to African Americans and Native Americans within this country, and then expect us to fight. But that was just like the little mini grapples that I've had to come with. And then me thinking about it, it's like, yeah, I've had grandparents and like my grandfather and then my great grandfather who served in the military, and then having to realize that it was bigger than just the thoughts that I thought about, because of having to sit there and think of what my ancestors had to endure with slavery and like convict leasing and like the in civil rights, and not being able to drink out of water fountains and being in segregated schools and things like that. And I had to think about like, yo, well, like why was my granddad fighting for a country that didn't really want to see him? It's basically what, like when you think of the US Constitution, it really wasn't made for black people or just people of color. Just it goes beyond even just black people, just people of color regardless. It really wasn't made for us. So when I sit there and think about, when I was thinking about the military, I had to think about like, yo, this was beyond my way of thinking. Like, okay, it's not just that. It's like they're still just wanting us to have a seat at the table, just to be able to be like, okay, like so we can have conversations of like, yo, that's not right, that's not good. Like, because even if we weren't in those situations to be in the military, I don't even think I could be able to sit here and even have the discussion of thinking like, yo, that's not right, if that makes sense. But let's get back into it.
God help me, I was only 19. A 4-week operation, when each step could mean your last one on 2 legs. It was a war within yourself, but you wouldn't let your mates down till they had you dusted off. So you closed your eyes and thought about something else. And then someone yelled out, "Contact!" and the bloke behind me swore. We hooked in there for hours, then a God almighty roar. And Frankie kicked a mine the day that mankind kicked the moon. God help me, he was going home in June.
That's crazy. And so when I think about this aspect, I'm sitting here thinking about where he's sitting there like, yo, I was only 19. And I think he said Frankie. So I'm assuming that this is his friend who lost his life in combat. If I'm not mistaken, I think he said Frankie. It was either Frankie or Freddie. But just to sit there and think about that, these are people who like they left their families behind and now they're creating new families. So these are like their brothers, their sisters. These are their new family that they're sitting here watching succumb to the tragic events of war. And then to figure out when they come home, at least in the United States aspect, I'm not sure, I'm not familiar with New Zealand and how Australia is, but and how they treat their soldiers. But when I think about how we have so many soldiers that are homeless and just not receiving a proper medical coverage and mental health coverage of how we treat our soldiers when they come back here, and it's like, yo, like half of y'all who make these laws and are in power, y'all wouldn't even be able to be in these positions to feel safe if it wasn't for them. Yet you're sitting there letting them fall by the wayside. And so that's like, that was another reason that made me have to fix my way of thinking about the military too, because it's the simple fact is, it's like we're sitting there going against the grain, like the machine, like Rage Against the Machine, like the machine, which is our government that wants to see us stand still and stand pat, where they're the real opposition of it all, where we're sitting here like, yo, we're all in this together, because there's the hierarchy and then there's the rest of us who are being oppressed. So let's get back into it.
I can still see Frankie drinking tinnies in the Grand Hotel on a 36-hour reg leave in Bungtown. And I can still hear Frankie lying screaming in the jungle till the morphine came and killed the bloody row. And the Anzac legends didn't mention mud and blood and tears, And the stories that my father told me never seemed quite real. I caught some pieces in my back that I didn't even feel. God help me, I was only 19. And can you tell me, doctor, why I still can't get to sleep? And why the Channel 7 chopper chills me to my feet?
Ooh.
And what's this rash that comes and goes? Can you tell me what it means? God help me.
The effects of war. Wow.
I was only 19.
I like this. I thought they did a phenomenal job sitting here driving the point home for this track. This was very cool. I liked it. Okay, so let's quickly talk about Redgum when I was only 19. I definitely loved this track. I thought that they did a phenomenal job really expressing what this track was all about, especially showing the effects of how war affects our fallen soldiers, and not even just our fallen soldiers, how it affects our soldiers that have came home and are trying to live a normal life and not allow basically those situations that they have seen in war basically make them as sick as their secrets or just the things that they have been exposed to. And then it's like with it being called 19, these are things that our soldiers have experienced since 18, 19 years old. And you sit there and think like, yo, you haven't even lived all of your life yet, and you've seen more than what some people who are probably like 70 or 80 have experienced just in that short amount of time, because at that time you have went into combat. And like I said, I had my own gripes with just like military, but that was, like I said, I had before I expanded my thinking, but that was because of the social and racial construct of how America is founded. Now, like I said, I can't speak for other countries, but I speak about how America was, and just of like how race was like just so heavily influenced, and then basically our country was built on racism and race and this divide and conquer strategy of free labor, and just living off the backs of people who have been oppressed, starting with like Native Americans, and then when slavery came in, basically eradicating and taking their land and placing them on reservations, and then you come with the free labor of slaves for so many years, and then just going into like now where you still sit there and see like with the police shootings and just like the civil unrest basically within our country, within America I'm speaking. So it's just like but I love how they express through like imagery and just the lyrics and just life in general of like what our soldiers have to go through, what is at such a young age, and for us to be more aware and more consciously aware of the things that they have to go through and that they have to basically live through to see. Because a lot of us would be like, okay, that's nothing, but yeah, like they've been exposed to some real life issues and things that really have affected them. And I definitely thought that this was an amazing song. So huge shout out to Elias for actually have me react to this. And I thought it was phenomenal. I can't rate this because when you sit here and listen to things like this, especially when it's on of a national day, which I believe it was April 25th for you guys of 2021. Please correct me if I'm wrong. And it's like a national holiday, and to, I guess, at least for me, at least if I'm expressing it correctly, that it's like y'all independence, or just in general, like just to like I said, to honor your vets. Like it could be like a Veterans Day, a Memorial Day in that aspect. And it may not be like a 4th of July, but just like a Veterans Day and a Memorial Day to honor your soldiers who are fallen and who are still here, and just to celebrate them. And I mean, that's all sometimes they need, is just to celebrate them, because so, like they risk their lives for us every day, every day. And for them to come home and then you sit there and see what they have to be succumbed to with through governments and things like that, it's very shameful. So I definitely love this. I thought they did a phenomenal job. And with that being said, I'm not going to rate it. I thought it was an excellent song. So please let me know what you thought of Redgum with I Was Only 19 in the comments below. And with that being said, please be safe out there. Remember to stay awesome, be awesome, because you guys are all awesome. This is your boy Mark, and I'm signing off. Deuces. Peace.